Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Aparuta de sangamata satavara ye sodavanta bamunchantu satang. So this evening I've been asked to give a reflection, and this is bringing into consciousness the way it is, reality, awaking to the real. So these are words, but this is the whole kind of essence of Buddhist teaching. Awakened consciousness to reality, putting that into modern terms. So the real we call the Dhamma. So, and this is the Pali word, so Dhamma is reality, and then awakenedness is Buddha, or awakened consciousness, or what I call mindfulness, because even though we tend to believe we are awake, we live in a world of our own creation, such as we see the world from our own particular bias, our own conditioned way of thinking, our own identities, ideals, emotional habits, and that's not reality. That's not the real. So reality cannot be defined. It's not something you can say is this or that, but it can be recognized. So this is when we talk about the Dhamma, then we're awakening with the Buddho is the ability that each one of us has to be awake, pay attention, observe, reflect on the way it is, so that we are aware and recognize, realize the Dhamma. So this is the kind of Buddhism in a nutshell. Because like any religion, it is quite an ancient religion, so it has a lot of, it sounds very complicated. If you read, the Tripitaka, the scripture is enormous, and then there's all kinds of commentaries and modern works on Buddhism. So that the subject itself is one that over 2,550 years has become increasingly complex. And yet when we reflect from the original sermon of the Buddha, the first sermon after his enlightenment, then we're returning to its basic simplicity. So in my own experience in monastic life, has been one in using this first sermon for 41 years now. This what we call the Four Noble Truths, and this I recognize right from the beginning is a kind of lifetime opportunity to keep using this particular teaching to observe, to awaken, to let go of the delusions that I tended to identify with, to break through the illusory world, the conditioned realm that I had. I found that I was living in a world of my own delusions most of the time, and what I thought was the real world what everybody assumed was the real world. I didn't particularly like the real world of a modern life and desire and greed and ambition and conceit that I could see in myself in the society that I lived in. So the insight into Buddhadharma was to I knew one is conditioned, culturally conditioned, to see things in a certain way. So we kind of reflect on the fact that consciousness is not something that's conditioned by culture. So at this moment, every one of us is experiencing consciousness. So it's not something that is Asian or European or male or female, or it's not even Buddhist or Christian or anything else. Consciousness is natural, is real. It's what we're experiencing now. But yet, even though each one of us is conscious, we project into consciousness our conditioning, the sense of me as a separate person, values, ideals, emotional habits that I've developed over the years of my life, like and dislike and desire and fear and jealousy and anger, greed, hatred, and delusion, all its forms. By identifying with these different conditions, then one lives in the illusory world, the shadow world, which is all, which is considered by most human beings at this time the real world. But the Buddha was pointing to reality not as some kind of cultural condition or society or value system, but to Dhamma, to awakened consciousness that is no longer cluttered and distorted through our own delusions. And so, therefore, he, in the Four Noble Truths teaching, the first noble truth was the truth of human suffering or dissatisfaction, unhappiness or discontentment, or however it affects an individual human being. So suffering is what modern society definitely is trying to get rid of. We're trying to find happiness and seek happiness, fulfillment, all the best that we can think of. And suffering we want to get rid of, or run away from, or destroy. But the Buddha pointed out the fact that the conditioned realm that we're experiencing is in itself unsatisfactory. We can't find satisfaction in the conditions that we're experiencing. So this is where when we develop awareness or recognize the value of mindfulness, intuitive awareness, then we're beginning to recognize reality of pure conscious awareness before it's distorted with these conditioned views, conditioned habits. And by doing that, we need to look at these conditions for what they are. Now, this is not a judgment of conditioned phenomena, because when we look at conditions, then we're getting out of the dualistic view of good, bad, right, and wrong by just recognizing the nature of conditions, such that all conditions are impermanent. So this is the changingness of conditioned phenomena that is a characteristic a common characteristic to every condition, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, important, trivial, happy, sad, whatever. when we're looking for happiness, we have an idea, or usually a memory, of some moment of happiness, and then we'd like to have it again. So the next month I'm a speaker at one of the first European conference on happiness. Europeans have never had a conference on happiness before. The Australians have. So they want to bring happiness to Europe, I think. So I've been invited to be one of the speakers at this conference in London. And of course, happiness, what do we mean by that? It's a common enough word, we all want it, we like it, and everybody's impressed with the country of Bhutan. Gross national happiness is their aim, Happiness is what we all desire and would like to have. We like to be happy all the time. And so happiness is another ideal that we long for. But what is it? What is real happiness? And so this is more of a reflection than a definition. To tell you how you should be happy or what happiness is, it's still operating from an idea that I might have of what makes me happy, what I want to make me happy. So I can say, well, just let go of everything and learn to love everybody, and don't be selfish, and forgive all your enemies, and don't carry resentments, and these are, then you'll really be happy if you could just be perfect. And so it's kind of a truism, isn't it? We think if I could just get everything I want, in life, just everything I want, then I'd be happy. Like we get a certain kind of happiness out of getting what we want. So I really want something, and then I get it, and then I have a kind of happiness that comes from getting something I want. But that happiness doesn't last very long, because then you start wanting something else. So just the happiness that comes from getting what you want is like this. And so it's not to be despised or criticized, but to be recognized. So contemplate in your own life, when you do get what you want, or things are going your way, or people praise you, or there's good news, and it's a sunny day, and happiness is, and it's warm, and you're feeling good, and we have good food, and nobody's giving you a rough time, and it's happy. You feel happy and content then. But then that kind of happiness is easily, changed, isn't it? When it starts getting cold and you don't get what you want and things aren't running smoothly, then you feel unhappy.